Hello, this is Tim Lloyd again from Gain Access in Prague in the Czech Republic. Today, as part of the GMAT.cz video series, we're going to do a data sufficiency question. Data sufficiency is, you'll get about 15 of the 37 questions in the GMAT quantitative section on data sufficiency. It's very important that you actually are very comfortable and aware of what the process is, number one, and what the answer choices are, because the answer choices will always be the same. This video is not to explain the process for that particular set of choices you have to make. You can actually see that on one of our other videos. But we're assuming that you know how to make those choices and that you're familiar with the structure of data sufficiency. So we wrote this question to be nothing particularly difficult, but what I like about this question is there are some hidden traps, which of course is half the fun with data sufficiency. So here we go. We've got a uniform length pipe. It's an oil pipe, so we all know what that looks like. We've got some dimensions, but let's only focus on the question stem to begin with, not the statement. So we have the 50-meter length pipe. Thank you, Mr. Picasso. You do indeed get better at drawing as you do more data sufficient GMAT quantitative. So there we go, we've put the information in. We've got two pieces of statements as additional information. The first one is where we begin. We're told that the internal diameter of a cross section of the pipe is 200 centimeters. Well, before we get there, why don't we think about how do we even calculate the surface area? Okay, so let's go back to the question stem and think, what formula do we use? Well, the equation is it's 2 pi r, where radius is r, times the length plus 2 pi r squared. Now, that would be the standard if the ends were closed, but the end is not closed. It's an oil pipe, so that's the first trap. We're not interested as to think of it as a closed tube. Therefore, because it's a pipe, we're not interested in those end surface areas. We're only interested, as you like, on the long surface, the 50-meter surface. So we can simplify it. We now can have an equation where we have the number 50 put in there for the length, giving us a new total 100 pi r. So the surface area, external surface area, is 100 pi r. We're using all the information given. Really, the only problem we have now for this value question is to solve for r. In other words, know the value of r. That would be sufficient data. This is not a yes-no question, it's a value question. Remember, there are those two types for data sufficiency. So let's look at clue 1, statement 1, and let's see if statement 1 gives us an actual value for r. Now, you might think it does, but actually it doesn't, because it only talks about the cross-section from the inside. It doesn't include the material of the pipe itself. So that's not sufficient, because unfortunately we need to know from the center of the tube to the actual outside part of the pipe, from the center to the outside. So statement 1 is not sufficient. We don't actually have the actual radius we're looking for. Maybe pause the video, go back, have a look at that if you're not sure. Now, because the first clue is not, the statement is not sufficient, we eliminate answer choices A and D. As I said at the beginning, we assume that you know how to make the choices between the answers. So that said, we're now only interested in B, C, E, so let's move on and have a look at the second clue statement by itself. The second statement tells us exactly what we are. It's a bingo. From the very center to the very outside, we have a distance of 110 centimeters. So the radius is given. That means statement 2 is sufficient, because we can now just put the value for r into our original equation. One thing, if this were a problem-solving question and we actually cared about the final value, don't forget that you need to unify your units. So when you put the radius in there, remember to divide by 100 so that you get a meter value instead of centimeter. The result is a nice, elegant cancellation, and we have 110 pi meters squared as a final value for the surface area. So there are a few small traps throughout that question. If you have any difficulty spotting them again, just watch it, go through it carefully, step by step, get to statement 2 being sufficient by itself, and you go for B. Now, Remember, you do not now put the statements together because statement 1 wasn't, but statement 2 was sufficient. You therefore don't even need to worry about C or E. You do not put those statements together. Okay, that was a fairly simple data sufficiency question from our video set. Find them on YouTube, and if you've got any questions regarding this one or any other video, please contact us on the link below. Likewise for any of our services. Thank you very much, and see you in the next video. Bye.